Come on in, sit right down. Keep your hands up and keep your chin down. Shut the door. Time to go with Randy Harris and Knockout Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, Knockout Radio with Randy Harris is about to start. So get ready for the best MMA talk, games, interviews, prizes, and surprises anywhere. For Knockout Radio, I'm the voice, Ray Flores, and you can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Ray Flores MMA, or facebook.com/Ray Flores MMA. And now, here's Knockout Radio.
Hey-o. Hey, everybody.
What is going on, everybody? It is a Wednesday. You know what that means?
What's that mean?
Knockout Radio.
Hump day?
Hump day.
What?
All right, I should give you the news now.
We're doing great. Thanks for asking.
Before I ask how you guys are doing, I want to give the studio, the main studio, the Bubba, the mothership, the whatever you want to call the main location over there in Hillsborough County, a 7-day notice.
Heads up.
We will be in studio next week.
You have been
cool.
Yeah.
So you guys are going to be in here next week.
We are going to be in there, and from what it appears, so will Matt Hamill.
Wow. There we go.
So we're going to bring Matt in. I'll be leaving early next week. How about that? I'm going to leave the whole thing to you guys probably right after the 7 o'clock hour.
Oh, God.
It was a little bit cheaper to fly to Seattle at 8:45 next Wednesday.
How fun with that?
Yeah.
Is it, how many stops you have?
Just one. Change a plane in Phoenix, and then I land at like 1:30 in the morning Seattle time.
All right.
And, yeah, should be cool. So we'll talk more about that. Then the week after, be live in Canton, Ohio for the Hall of Fame.
That'll be pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
But have you ever been to one of those?
Never been.
Enshrinements before?
Never been. Been credentialed before, and something always seems to come up because this year will be, in my opinion, the greatest Buccaneer of all time. So I'll broadcast live, and I'm trying to get the big guy Warren Sapp on the program as well. So
that'll be pretty cool.
Another show, another day, another time, another. I do want to throw out a real quick thank you to Executive Hotel in Seattle, which will be my home away from home main location next week. We do have some VIP tickets to give away for Mighty Mouse's after party.
Ooh,
very cool.
Where's that going to be?
In Seattle. I think it's called The Venue.
Okay.
It's like a, 3, 4, 19-story facility, knockout place. So we do have some VIP tickets. We will be hooking you up.
Knockout place. I see what you did there.
You like that, huh? So if you are in Seattle or if you're headed to Seattle, we hope to take care of you. All right, scheduled on today's program momentarily, I believe we'll be headed out to Albuquerque. Aaron Riley returns back to the cage next week, so we're going to have Aaron on. George Masvidal will be on at the bottom of the hour, and I think we will talk more about his legendary street fights, not just, it's on the table, not just what's happening next week, but have you checked those out? Where he fought Kimbo Slice's main protege?
No, did not see that.
I watched him earlier today.
Whoa. Kimbo Slice has a protege?
On the streets, not in the cage.
Yeah, on the streets.
Come on.
And he was commentating. He was doing the whole 9 yards. So I enjoyed that. I caught that earlier today. The return of Uncle Creepy. Ian McCall will be on. Norbert Hudak, scheduled to be on as we talk a little wrestling, the Extreme Rules, and just so happens Brock Lesnar on the cover. Speaking of cover, please, I'm into boycotts. I'm going to start boycotting everybody that's boycotting. I don't know if you saw my tweets and stuff.
Oh, yes.
But I think we should boycott, what is it, Rolling Stone magazine?
Yeah, that is...
Are you freaking kidding me?
Pretty dumb.
It could be the stupidest thing I've ever seen. It tops anything stupid I've ever done.
For those who have no idea what you're talking about, mainly me, what happened?
Do you live under a rock?
I tried to.
No, that's true.
Actually.
You live in a gym.
That's exactly right. There's sports.
Do they not
on,
have
that's
TVs?
about it. No, they have plenty of TVs, but it's all sports.
This is pretty... It is sporting. It is sporting.
Tell me about it. Somebody.
All right.
The Boston Marathon bomber
is
on the cover of Rolling Stone.
How about that crap? Yeah.
Oh
and a full article, everything. Full
it's okay about the article.
Yeah,
I'm okay about the article, but don't put this putz on the front cover.
Yep.
Because now people are going to want to do the same thing just to get on the cover. Second hour, Norbert Hudak will talk a little wrestling. Yves Edwards returns as long as we can get him up. Now he is going to hit the gym at 8 o'clock, so hopefully we'll get him on about 7:20. And then the return of your guy's favorite, Tito Ortiz.
There we go. Like to have him. There's the cover.
Yeah,
I just saw.
Pretty awful. Wow. All right, so I don't know what news you guys consider the biggest news. I think TJ Grant pulling himself out of the fight with Benson Henderson to reset up
conspiracy theory.
Everybody loves these conspiracy theories. Everybody loved that Anderson Silva took a dive. Everybody loves that TJ Grant's not really hurt.
Real quick, I was in the car the other day, and one of the we'll get to it in a second. It's going to take a while.
All right, save your story.
I will.
Because I don't want Aaron Riley mad at you.
Okay.
Let's head out, I believe, to Albuquerque. About, 9 days away from his return to the cage. Aaron Riley. Aaron, how are you?
Hey, doing well, Randy.
Appreciate your time. You are in Albuquerque, right?
I sure am.
Getting ready. Talk to me a little bit about is it a return? I know that we've talked, and I don't think you ever used the R word, but I think you were close to the retirement, correct?
I don't know. Yeah, I've had a long career, so it's been up and down and all over the place. But I still got this one in front of me before I can be thinking about anything like that. So,
all right. So it's been a year and a half since your last fight. Talk us through it. I mean, like I said, we've had you on. We've talked about it. I know maybe your heart or your head or something wasn't in it. It now is. How does it automatically get kicked back in?
Well, I mean, I dealt with a couple little injury setbacks in the past year and a half. I mean, I had an injury in my last UFC outing, and then I was trying to come back from that. And then I was scheduled against Cody McKenzie, but then I had some issues that came up that kept me out of that match. And then it was just picking a good time to come back. But everything's going good now. So looking to get back in there and just get things rolling again.
What can you tell us about your opponent, Justin Salas?
I've seen some video on him and everything. I know he's got some strong wrestling. I know that he's aggressive, tough fighter. He's a southpaw like me, so that ought to make it a little bit interesting for the both of us because most of the time southpaw fighters don't square off against another southpaw super often. But I have a couple times in my career and have been able to deal with it pretty well. So I don't know. That's what I know.
On paper, and I want to make sure that I word this politically correct because we know each other well enough that I don't want you to punch me in the face for this one. As I look at your record and I look at your opponent's record, I'm typically, pretty outspoken about, evenly matched. Is it fair to say you have almost 30 fights more than he does?
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, the experience is a big factor, and it's helpful. But you're only as good as your last fight in MMA, and you can. And I know that if I don't show up ready to go, that he'll be ready to take a win. So I have to come in completely ready to go and ready to stop him from trying to do that. So, it's a good thing for me to have the advantage with the experience. I mean, I wouldn't give that away, but at the same time, you can't ever look past anybody.
Is it difficult not to look past that? You're in the gym working out, he's in the gym working out, but you know that you have a ton more experience than him?
It doesn't even really factor into my mind, honestly. I just look at it as he's a guy who's training hard to come and do damage to me, and, I'm training hard to do the same thing. So, I don't even think about it.
Is it still fun?
What was that? The training, getting ready for fights? Yeah.
Yeah. The whole thing, your lifestyle. I mean, when you first started it, it's fun and it's sexy and all that kind of stuff. But now that you've been doing it for as long as you have, is it still as much fun today as it was 10 years ago?
I mean, yeah, no. I mean, definitely it's not as cool in a certain way. But I've just made so many friends in the industry now, and it's become such a part of my life. I mean, it's just a hard thing to get away from, and then it's been awesome to be back out here in Albuquerque and see all my buddies. And, just to, because they've all grown as fighters, it's been great to get in there. I mean, that's what's fun for me, to see them grow as fighters and to jump back in there and be like, oh, hey, man, can I still hang with these guys and blah, 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 blah. And it's a lot of fun. So, yeah, the training for this camp has been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed this camp a lot, and I think that's made it a productive one. So, yeah, I'm excited.
We are talking to Aaron Riley, who gets back in the cage next Saturday in Seattle. Does it matter to you, Seattle? I know that when we've talked, you said that you used to live there, you used to train up there. Does it matter Seattle, New Jersey, or Brazil? Does it matter where you fight?
It doesn't matter to me. I mean, I try to stay local, and I try to stay national. I try to stay in the United States as much as I can, just because it just makes life a lot easier with not dealing with jet lag and different diet and cuisine and things for cutting weight and all that. Makes it easier to stay in the U.S. But, I got to say, it'll be fun to go up to Seattle. I did live out there. I did train out there. So it'd be good to go see some familiar faces out in the Seattle area again. So.
What can we expect? Not to give away any game plans or anything, but, talk us through what's going to happen.
I've trained hard. I'm in good shape, just ready to take the fight to this guy, and I'm sure that he's ready to do the same thing. So I just think it's going to make for an exciting fight. I mean, that's pretty much it, man. I mean, I've just been out here really getting after it hard. I think it's been rejuvenating to my mind and my body to be away from fight camps for a really long time. So, that made me, excited to really get in there and go after it hard. So I'm going to go after it hard when I'm in the ring or the cage. It'll be no different. So,
when you're in Aaron, when you're in the gym, I'm sure you pick up stuff as you're watching other guys training or whatever. Or, you go into the back room and you pick stuff up when you're watching DVDs and film. How much have you picked up on training dogs?
How much have I picked up on training dogs? I picked up a little bit of stuff on training dogs. With my roommate running one of the most successful businesses on the East Coast with dog training. Yeah, I've definitely picked up a couple of interesting things. And oh man, I mean, I've been on the cage, in the cage on the opposite side of some pretty tough guys, but I'd never want to be, on the opposite side of a dog without a bite sleeve, because man, that'd be pretty rough.
I'll tell you what, and I didn't know you were there when we came out to do it. It was one of the scariest, but one of the coolest things I've ever done when I put that sleeve on and got to experience the dog clamping down and picking them up and swinging it around. And it was kind of cool, a little weird, but kind of cool.
Yeah, they're ferocious, man. I'm just trying to bring that amount of intensity with me into my fight. If I do that, I should be okay, right?
Do you plan on getting involved with Nick in the business down the road when that R word is used?
I don't know. I mean, he's mentioned it before and just said, hey, man, you should, and be like a celebrity dog trainer and blah, 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 blah. But I'm just like, I don't know, man. We'll wait and see. I mean, I'm just, I guess it would definitely be an easy segue because, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of still I'm working in gyms and training guys. Some of them are kind of dogs sometimes, but, now I'm just training. I'm training people in the gym and working back in Virginia, but, it's at the Yamasaki Academy. So I don't know. I'm just gonna, stay focused on this fight, and then I'll still be doing that. And then I don't know. Down the road, who knows?
How has training changed from the time you first got back to Albuquerque to now? We're 7, 8, 9 days away, and then when will you totally be done?
What do you mean exactly? Like the training for this match? Just for fighting? I didn't follow.
Exactly. The training for the fight. Yeah, we've moved on from Nick and the dog training and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, no, yeah. But, well, I mean, I'm going to finish out this week. I'm still doing a lot of the training doesn't really stop until right before the match. I mean, I'm going to be doing something. I'm going to be doing pad work. I'll be doing, running, pad work, and drilling just to stay sharp. I'm not going to do hard sparring as much now. That's starting to definitely taper off. But I'm definitely going to consistently be training. Pretty much all the way up until almost the fight. I mean, just smarter training and just trying to stay sharp and not, running myself into the ground or anything. All the super hard work is already pretty much done.
All right, and that's kind of what I meant because, there's been so many times that an athlete gets hurt, 10 days out, 8 days out, and a lot of people are like, well, why is he still training hard? And, so when is that cutoff time to kind of pull back a little bit because the fight is X amount of days out?
Well, Well, to each guy, it's kind of a different thing, and you kind of go listen to your body and go by feel and things in the past and whatever. But for me, definitely this week is starting to, it's starting to wind down a little bit now. I got some decently hard sparring in earlier this week, and everything. I'm definitely starting to already taper off.
Now, did I read something, I don't know if it was one of your tweets or somebody else's, about the competition in the gym there, whether it was, I don't know if it was bowling or it was something that you guys all went out and did, wasn't it?
It could be anything. It could be bowling, it could be miniature golf. It's always a competition, So, yeah, you always have to stay sharp and keep your smack talk strong, because it's always a competition around here when you get all these guys together, so.
Cool. Well, like I always like to do after I have you on and other guys on, obviously talk about, the sponsors, talk about the guys that make your life a little bit easier, enabling you to train and or train other fighters. Yeah,
well, for this fight, my buddy, my good friend for many years, Will Hammond, and Big Fight Management have been kind of helping me out, and they've been trying to stack up. I know that Rev Gear is stepping up with this one. I have a bunch of. I feel bad because I don't have the list exactly, so I don't know everybody. But I know that those guys have really strung together some really good stuff for me. And they've got some local stuff going on too in Seattle, as he's from that area. So I have some decent stuff kicking. So I have him to thank for that.
And how about the leader of all of us, Nick? Will he be out there?
I don't know if he's gonna make it out there or not. He's a new proud papa now, so I don't know if he's gonna be able to sneak out or not. We'll see, but you never know with him. So he may make a guest appearance. Well, and as we both know, he likes to show up unannounced. He's kind of like, I don't know what word I can use legally, so I'm going to just stop there. But you never know when he is going to show up. But off the top of your head, because I didn't write it down, do you have the information on his dog training service so that we can kind of put that out there for people as well? Yeah, sure. Well, yeah, just Off Leash Canine. That and offleashcanine.com, I believe, is the website. And I just know that they have a YouTube channel with, like, over 200 videos of before and after videos of dogs that have been trained, and they get some really problem dogs, and they really turn them around, and it goes really well for them. So just hit that up. He's actually trained John Jones' dog, and I think that he was in negotiation to train a couple like Cyborg's dog, a couple different people. I don't know, but I know for sure he trained John's dog in the MMA world. He trained John Wall's dog in the NBA world. So I don't know. He's definitely doing a little bit of celebrity dog training too. So. Well, and he also did the Iron Sheik, but I couldn't use that video on my website. Yeah, that's probably not going to be. Yeah, that's something you want to put out there. So. Aaron, thank you very much for your time. I know we're only 8 or 9 days away. I will see you in Seattle next week, and we can do this again. All right, Randy. I'm looking forward to it, man. Take care. We'll see you next week. That is Aaron Riley, everybody. Pick up the phone. Give us a call. 85-LIVE on IO.
Is your significant other nagging you about cleaning out the garage? Or spending too much on a storage unit? Needing to sell or purchase new or used equipment for your business? PostShareSell.com is your solution. A cool and innovative way to buy, sell, or trade online. With an easy-to-use mobile phone app and built-in sharing capabilities, post a free ad in less than 60 seconds. PostShareSell.com. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Post it, share it, sell it.
If you're listening and you're in Seattle, or if you're coming to Seattle, I will leave a pair, once I get there. Now, I don't get there till Thursday. So after Thursday, I will leave a pair of VIP tickets for Mighty Mouse's after party at the front desk of the Executive Hotel in Seattle, which is downtown. It's close to the arena. If you're headed to the arena for the weigh-ins or whatever, first one that gets there after Thursday noonish, all they have to do is go up to the front desk, say you want the free tickets, and they'll be there for you.
So I imagine you're going to tweet that out as well, just as a reminder for people once you get there?
That's, that is the we just got a text. I hate this, especially after I did my 10 seconds of research. George is still training. He's still working out, so we're going to, as of right now, postpone. Hopefully, I don't want to say cancel, because I do want to talk to him about some cool. This is an interesting fight. I don't know if you guys have looked into it much. A lot on the line for both guys. Chiesa, has that big Ultimate Fighter winner and all that kind of.
And
once
it's a home. Well, no, sorry. I was thinking he was on the. Oh no, yeah, he's the. They're the prelim main event, so he's at home. And wasn't he supposed to be on the last Seattle card?
Yes,
and,
I think he was.
And he had to pull out.
I'm just saying, when you do win, it's kind of like we were watching a bunch of stuff about Johnny Football. When you win the Heisman or the He Is Man Award, when you win the Ultimate Fighter, when you win some of these things, it's something that can never be taken away. And Bruce Buffer will always announce the Ultimate Fighter winner, the Ultimate Fighter winner. More pressure on him, and he's fighting a monster that's now in the UFC. Do me a favor later tonight, YouTube his street fight.
I will do that.
Masvidal?
Yeah, it definitely was a lot of fun to watch. So, John Jones just now, I guess, starting to
see the belly.
Hey,
he's skinny fat.
All right, so what I was talking about.
I've got no room to talk.
Before we had the interview.
No, that was in the tweet. That's not my personal opinion. That's him saying it.
But before we had the interview, I was going to talk about something. I was listening to an MMA show in the car a couple days ago. They were talking about different things. They brought up John Jones. And someone said the biggest upset in UFC history will happen when John Jones gets knocked out in the second round by Alexander Gustafsson. Because of Jones's suspect chin. And I yelled, "How do you know that?
Right.
How
when
do
have
you
we
know?"
seen a suspect chin on him?
And the co-host goes, "When has his chin ever been tested? So you have no idea." They go, "Well, that's why I'm saying it. Because he's never fought a young guy like Gustafsson. He's fought 30-year-olds instead of 25-year-olds. Isn't he 23?
They've been some pretty damn good 30-year-olds, though.
Yeah. So I just wanted to throw that out
champions.
there. Like, are you kidding me?
That's interesting.
Suspect chin.
I don't know where they're getting that.
I like the theory. Not.
Yeah.
My question is, and I think I have the answer to my own question, but I'm going to ask you guys. I'll ask the audience as well. Tweet us your response. We could Yap it. We need to get the Yap app up and running, which should be any day now where we could put it up there. And we don't know this, just like the suspect chin. Is John Jones doing too much outside of MMA? Is he, not 100% MMA? Now he's going to commentate the arm wrestling thing on the 24th. Not that that's a big deal, because he'll probably fly in on the 23rd. It's only like a day or two. It's not a big deal to me, but give me your thoughts.
His brand is only going to be good for so long. He needs to capitalize on anything and everything he can now, because in 10 years it won't be the same as it is now.
True. I also think you have to take into account the person themselves, and everybody's going to be different as to what's going to be too much for them. So one thing, it could be too much for X Fighter, but for him it's not. Because we were saying that Rampage was doing too much too, and he was doing acting and all that.
Well, I think it's two different things. I think is he doing too much, or is his mind is away? I think you can do a lot of things away from, and sometimes it's good to get away. As long as you, and this was the disagreement that I know that we all had a while back, like with Brian Stan moving back to, I think it was the Atlanta area, and a lot of these guys that don't go to, quote unquote, a camp. As long as you do your work, I have no problem with everything else. With Melvin going and playing golf or doing whatever he's going to do. You just need to make sure that you get the work in. I think John Jones can go and do as much outside activities as he wants, because he's going to get the work done. He's going to be busy in Albuquerque. He's going to be busy when he's back in New York. I don't see him slacking like I could see Quentin when he was involved in the movies and that kind of stuff.
Now, do you think it's because of the gym that he's at that Greg Jackson won't let him go too far? Or Greg Jackson will be in his ear saying, "Yeah, think about this."
I think a good percentage of that is Greg, but I also think from just the background of John Jones, the brothers that are athletes. It's not like a one-hit wonder. I mean, the brothers are going to be in his ear. Obviously Malky's going to be in his ear. Obviously Greg Jackson and Winklejohn, and they're not going to allow it. So I'm not I don't think it's a big deal to go and do these outside activities. And like I said, sometimes I think to clear your mind and clear whatever, it's good to get away. but still get your work done. You can still do work when you're in Vegas for that day and a half.
Sure.
Road work, whatever. Look at Michael Todd. He works out 5 minutes a day.
Yeah.
Remember that interview?
He can do that 5 minutes wherever there's a gym. He can move his massive amount of weight.
I think it's a good move. Like anybody gives a damn what I think. But Dana White has responded that the bonuses will not go away.
Which I think is good.
I think it's great. I really do think it motivates all these guys. Not that they need more motivation, but $50,000 extra, $70,000 extra, it's a nice little Benny, especially if you're on the undercard and obviously making 6 at 6.
Yeah, that's more than what you'd get if you showed and won sometimes. So that because actually that's what happened with Bader when he beat Rampage, because I think his was 24. So he got the 48 for winning, but then he got an extra 50.
And he got the
extra 20%.
too.
Yeah. Of all the people to happen to, you want it to happen to one of those big name guys.
Oh, absolutely. You're talking about the not making weight?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Now, I kind of mentioned it and we kind of blew it off real quick. You were talking conspiracy. Do you think the TJ Grant thing is a conspiracy?
I think what happened is they told him, if anything happens, let us know far enough in advance so we can get this fight taken care of. You said it was a concussion?
Right, that's what I read.
How many weeks out are we from the fight?
What is it, the end of August? So 6?
6 weeks out. People have come back a whole lot shorter than 6 weeks. You can still train. You're not going to get hit in the head.
From a concussion,
hold on a second.
though?
Have you ever had a concussion?
I believe I gave someone a concussion a couple days ago, but I also think that...
Yeah, how about that? Can I throw this out real quick?
I want to hear
If
this.
you're riding a bicycle, I'm not talking about a motorcycle. If you're riding
a pedal bike,
it's not wise to go against traffic, to go against a red light, and try to play dodgeball with cars.
What?
Yeah, I'll explain to you later.
Oh, you didn't know that?
I haven't heard any of this.
Yeah, it's not a real good move to play chicken with a vehicle.
Yeah, you'll lose.
And he did.
He did.
And he did. So have you ever, now that we know you gave a concussion, have you ever had a concussion?
Yes.
It's awful.
It is.
So you can't train when you have a serious concussion.
You can still do film work. You can still do something.
Not really.
What do you mean not really?
Not really.
Doesn't that affect your ability to focus?
To focus.
To remember?
Exactly. After the show, let me give you a concussion. Okay.
I was hoping you were going to say that.
And then I want to see you go to work tomorrow.
So now TJ Grant should go 2 steps below. He gave up his opportunity, and now...
Why 2 steps? Why should
he needs to fight again to earn that spot?
But he had the spot.
And it's gone now. What happened to Pettis? Had the fight. He gave up the fight. He waited. He took another fight. It dropped out.
Does this count as waiting or denying a title shot, though?
10 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks.
This is due to injury.
Plenty of time.
This isn't saying no to a title shot.
I think this is a little different than the Dan Henderson pulling out a week before.
Yeah, because they said if anything happens, let us know.
Okay.
Because we have a guy there.
So
I'm sure he said, I have a concussion. I'm not feeling quite well, but I can still do it. I think he would still want the fight. And the UFC said, no, we're going to sit you down. Because we can sell this one more than we can sell the other one.
Am I really the most naive person in the world?
Where's the fight? Where's the fight?
It's in Milwaukee.
And that's where Pettis is from. There you go.
I'm naive.
I don't tickets probably aren't selling well. You put Pettis in there. There you go. You're doing it it's the Harley Davidson hometown thing.
Yeah.
The hometown guy fighting for the title. There you go.
I'm speechless.
I don't know. Because
crazier things have happened.
855-483-6646. If you want to pick up the phone, give us a call. Give us your opinion. I mean, I'm naive. I believe everything. I believe everybody. I believe that he said he does have a concussion, and I believe that he probably still did want to fight, but made the comment, I have a concussion. So now you're talking 3 weeks, maybe longer. And if you're going to go for the title, you want to be 1,000%. It's one thing to be a little nicked up, a little banged up, but having a concussion, depending on how serious it is, you can't even get out of bed sometimes.
Have you had a concussion?
I have, as a matter of fact.
When was the last time you had a concussion?
It's been a while.
There you go.
Well, I still remember it.
Still remember.
I got pushed off a moving car. It wasn't pretty.
Okay.
Yeah, it was ugly.
What?
Yeah.
What is it with you guys and cars and concussions? Stop it. Knock it off. Damn.
It was ugly.
So now, say that Pettis wins.
Then he has the belt.
They're going to do a rematch. Everyone gets a rematch. So now what does TJ
especially
Grant
in this
do?
case?
Again, I'm not going to say it's a definite rematch.
Everybody else gets one, especially in that weight class.
Who's everybody else?
In that weight class.
Tell me who everybody else is. Tell me.
Edgar got it.
I think
Henderson got the rematch.
I definitely think that there would.
Anderson already had a rematch before the fight.
Well, that's a good point. A decision was already made.
Yeah.
Even though nobody really thought that they would need it.
Do you think Anderson doesn't deserve a rematch?
Because of how he lost, he doesn't deserve it. And he was a jackass. You don't deserve it.
And I'm with you on that.
If your hands are up and you're fighting, you get caught. You get caught. But when you're asking for it and you get knocked out, no, you don't deserve it.
I'm with you on that. We talked about it last week. I think that he was a jackass in what he did. Yes, it's what he's done numerous times, but I think he deserves the rematch just because of what he's done, how he's done it, how long he's done it. So I'm okay with that one. The Frankie Edgar ones, I'm okay with those because still people are arguing about did he win, did he lose. So if it's a competitive fight and people want to see it, I'm okay with those. Give me any other rematches. Well, off the top of your head, nothing else comes to mind? So it's Frankie Edgar, and it's the soon-to-be
Anderson rematch. Just off the top of my head.
Okay, so that's not everybody. Now, granted, the belts don't change that often.
GSP got one right after Sarah knocked him out.
Yeah.
Immediate.
Was it immediate?
I believe so. Yeah, Sarah didn't have another fight. He won and then lost it.
Let's throw it in the Googleator real quick.
Throw it up real quick, because I thought there was a fight in between. Not GSP, but didn't... I could be wrong.
I don't think Sarah defended the title.
Oh, so
let's have a look.
What are you saying?
That if the champion loses...
I understand. So what are you saying? You're saying that...
I'm just saying he didn't have a fight in between.
So he beat GSP for the title at UFC 69, and then his next fight was GSP when he lost it, and that was UFC 83. That was back-to-back.
Okay. I remember the Matt Hughes, but that was after.
That was the fight after, yeah.
I'm looking at it as well.
98.
So again, I'm okay with some, depending on who it is. In this particular case, who would you have fight and not GSP? Back then. I'm saying back then that far. Was there somebody in line next? Was there somebody that was the real number one contender?
You can find somebody.
Really?
Yeah. Very easy.
So if John Jones loses in September in Toronto, who would you put next? You wouldn't give John Jones a rematch?
No.
Depending on how the fight goes?
One depending, but no. That takes everything away.
I can almost appreciate and honor your opinion because you said it depends on how the fight goes. If you would have said just absolutely no, then I might not have respected it as much.
If Gustafsson goes in there and wins all 5 rounds and wins,
decisively
49-46, right? That would be the proper math. You know what? John Jones, thank you. Here's a handshake. You now drop down 5 spots.
And I
have fun. Work your way back up to the top.
I'm okay with that.
You don't get this immediate title shot. You get your title back, and now you're still the man.
49-46, I'm okay. What happens if it's 48-47 in an extremely close fight that Sean, you personally believe John Jones won?
And Gustafsson actually got the belt?
And Gustafsson gets the win because
I'm still going to watch the fight regardless.
Judges.
But I'm just saying
Did I say allegedly drunk judges?
Yeah, allegedly.
Okay. So go ahead.
You can line it up again.
All right.
But like I said, I'm going to watch it regardless. Whether it's the second fight, the first fight, Gustafsson's fighting as the champ against someone else, I'm going to want to watch. But it just seems like now when you have the belt, it's kind of like you have to beat me twice, really, to be the champ. You might beat me once, but I'm going to get that shot. I'm going to come back, beat you, get the belt. And then, more times than not, at least I think what would happen, say Weidman loses now to Anderson, what is it, New Year's?
December 28th.
Does Weidman get a rematch? No, he drops down 5 spots.
And,
thank you. Work your way back up.
And I'm glad you said that because I was thinking the difference between Weidman in this case and say somebody like Silva getting a rematch, because you were talking about how Silva has that credit, what he has done over his years. He has that credit to deserve a rematch. And I was thinking about Henderson. If he lost to Pettis, does he get the rematch? I don't think so, because he's only defended the title 3 times. That would be his 4th title defense. Does he have that sort of built-up credit that Silva has? Or does Jones have that enough built-up credit to deserve?
Jones does.
Yeah, Jones does.
And I think
Jones is the number 1 fighter, pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
Right.
Yes, he's built it up.
So then, if Gustafsson beats him, you're saying no matter what, he deserves the rematch.
No, I'm not saying no matter what.
So he doesn't have...
I don't think anybody has. I don't think anybody has a no matter what.
Anderson does.
Anderson does.
But see, again, people are even... They're not even... Which is a shame for Chris Weidman. They're not even calling that a real fight. Because he was a jackass. Because he did all those things.
And that's why he doesn't deserve one.
And again...
Because he knew going into that fight, no matter what I do, I still get to fight him again.
But I don't think he did that because of that. I think he does it in the rematch.
But you have that in the... I bet you he won't do it.
I think he does.
He won't do it.
I don't think he does it as much. I think you're going to see a different Anderson Silva, who is already favored to win the rematch. But I think I think he does some of that just to prove a point. Just to prove that he can do that. Now, it won't be to the extent. He's not going to stick his head all the way out and his hands all the way down. He'll be a little more protected. But yeah, I'm willing to wager dinner.
Okay.
That he does something.
Wait, who are you wagering this with?
I'll take it.
I'll do it. Well, at one of our favorite locations.
Yeah, the place you don't pay, and I'll probably have to pay. So here we go.
Can I get in on this action?
Say that again. I don't pay, and you'll have to pay.
Yeah, you'll go to a place where they're like, Randy, you're good.
Oh my God,
you're good. We got you. Making bets with the international man of mystery.
God, that was hilarious.
It's a win-win for you.
All right, then.
Love to be in that.
All right,
boat.
Then I'll go with it. But again, back to that, I think depending on how the champion loses, I mean, back in the day in boxing, it was in the contract that if the champion lost, it was an automatic rematch. It was an automatic thing.
No matter what.
No matter what. I think depending on how the champion loses and who is in line next, and again, don't we all think that John Jones is head and tails above everybody else in the light heavyweight division?
For the most part, yeah.
For the most part. I'm saying who would be a close whatever.
Well, as of right now, the closest one is Gustafsson.
Okay. And who would be after that?
Yes.
Okay. So if it is such a large gap between a John Jones that loses a close fight, I don't think he loses, but let's say he loses a close fight, then yeah, I have no problems with it. But if you have somebody lined up that is number 3, if Alex the Mauler is 2, whoever is sitting at 3 who is right there.
I think that's Machida right now.
Okay.
Machida's 1. Machida is ranked number 1.
I would give John Jones a rematch for the next 6 fights.
Because you don't like seeing Machida fight.
I just don't think Machida is the next guy in line.
What about Glover Teixeira?
He's
pretty good.
Ooh, threw a wrench in that one, huh?
Where is he on the old list?
3.
Then
you don't want to see 4 fight. You don't want to see 5
give
fight.
names, don't give numbers.
4 is Rashad.
No.
You don't want to see that one. And then 5 is Nog.
Yeah, I don't want to see that either. Glover.
That would be
I like
fight.
Glover. I like Glover. I don't root for anybody to get injured, but I like Glover.
Who do you have in that fight?
You're still taking John Jones, suspect chin and all.
Yeah, well, yeah.
with the boxer, right? The boxer's gonna
suspect chin, and he has a very bad ground game.
He does. Yeah.
All we do is see what he does standing up,
which is demolish.
He's got a great ground game. He's got great 12-6 elbows too.
Here's the thing about John Jones. I have John Jones ranked as the number 1 fighter pound for pound in the world, and I think he is a third of what he will be
once he gets to heavyweight.
Well, that too. I mean, I think he's a scary monster just waiting to explode. He's still young in the sport. He's still learning a lot of things. And let's see what happens when he is put in whatever it's called, dark waters, heavy water, whatever water.
Matt Riddle, deep water.
Deep water?
Yeah.
Whatever the water's called. I like it. I like it. Now, here's the question for you, and I'm going to assume you're going to say Glover. If John Jones wins in September, would that be next? Or do you think it'll be Machida?
It will be Machida.
Yeah, sadly. I think so.
Do you think they do it in Toronto again? Isn't that where he fought?
Well, that is. He's going to buy a house there. I think, isn't this John Jones' second or third time fighting
I
up
think
there?
it's the third time in Toronto.
Yeah. So
he's fought twice in Newark, I think, 3 times in Toronto.
They've kept everything close to New York for him and his fans and his family.
Well, that's good for them.
That's what it seems like.
Good for them.
So now back to the whole lightweight thing. Just because I'm looking at
God,
the
we're
rankings.
everywhere right now.
Well, we're talking about title fights and rankings.
Go ahead. Okay.
And
Go ahead.
Grant is 3rd.
Okay.
Pettis is 2.
Right.
And then Melendez 1. How about a Melendez TJ Grant fight now?
Number 1 contender, eliminator.
I'm okay
Something
with that
along those
if
lines.
you're making TJ Grant have another fight. If TJ Grant doesn't get the winner.
Or if Pettis wins. If Pettis wins, there's going to be a rematch, and they're going to tell Grant you need to fight. That
Well, and I
it's
think
going to
Grant
be
would
9
wanna
months
fight, too.
before you can fight.
I don't know if necessarily, again, depending on how the fight goes down, I don't know if Henderson gets an automatic rematch.
He will get one.
I think especially with the way
I hate talking
the
hypotheticals.
Edgar thing
but
went
you
down.
know, you have to do it.
No, but I'm saying because it's something that, we don't know we don't know, and so to kind of talk about it that way, but if Henderson gets beat decisively by Pettis, I don't think he gets a rematch.
I'd say that's more the case. If it's
He hasn't
decisive,
dominated
yeah.
his fights. There's still been a lot of questions about his fights, which is why Frankie got the rematches and such. He's not dominated every fight like John Jones.
But that's another thing. What's the definition of being dominated? Is it getting worked for 5 rounds and losing via 50-45 or a 50-44 unanimous
That's
decision?
being dominated.
Or is it being knocked out by a lucky punch early in the second round?
I think we're talking about 2 entirely different things. I think, the Anderson Silva thing happens once in a whatever. I don't want to say a lifetime because it possibly could happen again.
Right.
But to compare that to losing 5 rounds, I don't think you'll see something like what happened with Anderson anytime soon. So I think it's unfair to compare the 2. If you get dominated for 5 rounds or for 4 rounds, then no, I don't feel just because you're the champion and now you've got dominated in 4 of the 5 rounds that you deserve an automatic rematch. But if it's a close fight and there's really not somebody there that's standing on the doorstep, banging on the door saying, okay, it's my turn, then I'm okay with the rematch.
Okay. I think I see that.
But if you get dominated, then no, you go to the number 3. But if it's a close, questionable fight, like Derek has said, not a screw job, a 3-2, even a 4-1, that you sit back like those Frankie Edgar fights. And when we sat and talked to the media, and half of the media, 60% of the media thought Frankie Edgar
the
won.
other way, yeah.
Now, again, it doesn't necessarily mean anything, but yeah, I want to see that rematch more than I want to see somebody that none of us want to see. The fans don't want to see. The media per se doesn't want to see. And Dana and Joe Silva don't want to see it. That's all I'm saying.
And see, one of the issues that I just thought that messes everything up is with all these fights put on so far in advance, the contract signed, someone gets hurt, or the champion loses, or there's not a rematch or anything like that. These guys already have fights, so now you have to find someone maybe 4 or 5 for the next spot, and not 2 or 3 if you're going by the rankings.
Because they're already otherwise occupied.
Yeah, because right now I'm just looking lightweight, all the stuff. Gilbert Melendez already has a fight scheduled. So now that whole TJ Grant thing that I threw out more than likely wouldn't happen because now you're talking 3-4 months.
But that's the
5
thing.
months
You
from
have
that fight.
We've had situations where there's been guys prepping for one fight.
Yeah, change.
And there's a change, especially if they're moving up, especially if they're going for a title shot now. And now you're having to find another fight for the lower ranked guy because the other guy is now fighting up for the title fight.
I
think they'd still do something like that. It's not completely out of the realm of possibility.
Anything's possible, though.
Especially in this sport. Quick segue, since we've already been everywhere else.
Another tangent. Let's go.
Yeah, we were talking about all these different weight classes. How about Cormier could be on his way out of the heavyweight division fighting Roy Nelson if he gets re-signed in time? You like that fight?
I do like that fight. I like that fight a lot. I don't like the fight in the sense that it's going to possibly put somebody out. Because if Cormier loses that fight, is it a big deal now? He's going to go down to light heavy. He'll fight once, and maybe then he'll get thrown right into a title shot. But if he loses to Roy Nelson, you're talking 4 fights away, if that.
Or they're looking at it as a special attraction fight.
Or are they looking at, well, again, they got to re-sign Roy.
It's not like they're throwing him to the wolves with Roy Nelson now after his last performance.
Very true. Very true. Maybe we're giving Roy Nelson a whole lot more credit than possibly deserves.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, he has a lot of credit, especially with that. Well, the beatings that he's taken in his losses, and then how, to me, dominant he's been in his wins. I mean, I think that's a really good.
I like the fight.
Good fight, yeah.
No, I like the fight. And I continue to say, test. I want guys tested. Mm-hmm. I still say, and I want to get into the second hour, to kind of compare the Cyborg Ronda Rousey, as there's a lot of talk on women's pound for pound. And I continue to say, and with the women, it's a little different because there's not so many divisions.
You're not comparing the different
right.
ones. Yeah.
With the men, I'm always saying, if you're not in the UFC, which is the elite, get there, show me something. So I still want, I know that Cormier beat Frank Mir, and, I still consider Frank upper echelon, lower upper echelon, up there. If he goes out and takes out Roy Nelson in pretty decisive manner,
that would put him up high.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then to have him go down into light heavy, you're telling me that you wouldn't be excited for him to fight if John Jones is still the champ, or even if Alex is the champ by then? You wouldn't be excited for a Cormier title shot?
I definitely would like to see that. I don't know. I would want to see at least one fight in the division first, though. And I know we've talked about that in the past.
May or may not happen.
Going from one division to another straight into a title shot, especially with somebody like Chael talking his way into it.
Pettis,
same thing. Edgar did it.
Melendez came right over.
Did not even being in the organization. Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, it has happened.
Isn't that what they did with Diaz, too, before he skipped out in the press conference? It was his first. They brought him over from Strikeforce for the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely see it plenty of times. I would prefer to have them prove themselves. Although I think it would be an easy fight regardless for Cormier because he's coming down from
But he sort of has proved himself. He's not coming over from another company. He's been
anymore
in the well, I'm saying.
And you name those names. Mm-hmm. Jake Shields. Didn't Shields come right over?
Yeah.
For a title shot? So now you're talking about Jake Shields, Melendez, and Diaz, all Strikeforce champions that go right into a fight, and then Cormier, where you're saying what's going on. If he wants to move down, does he get it? I think if he wants to move down, you have to give it to him because of what he's done.
That's the thing, though.
And because of what the division is, too.
Yes.
And does he skip in front of Machida, assuming Machida would be the next one after Gustafsson?
He would say yes in a heartbeat. I just want to see it. Absolutely. Daniel Cormier, please come down.
Yes, please.
Absolutely, 1,000%. But I'm not necessarily Joe Silva. At least last time I looked in the mirror. I'm not Dana White. It's what those guys think, and I think it's a lot of things. Which would sell better? I think it's easy to say which sells
Cormier.
Better. Yeah.
Yeah. We've already seen Jones Machida. We know what happened.
You think Jones Machida sells better than Cormier Jones?
It'd be tough.
I'm not even on the Cormier bandwagon yet, and I want to see that fight.
Okay.
I think it would be quite interesting to see Jones Cormier at heavyweight. Definitely. That'd be really awesome. Especially since Jones walks around at 230?
I don't know. You saw the belly,
240?
so I mean, there's got to be some weight on there.
Well, again, that's
He
his
fights in
self-proclaimed.
September.
Who are you talking about?
You're saying John Jones is
Oh, yeah, it doesn't matter.
He'll be fine.
it's July.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm just joking around.
Yeah.
I'm just saying what weight he walks around at, right now.
Yeah, because if he was fighting without having to cut down at all against somebody who is also at about, I'd say probably the same, since he's in the process of cutting down. Because I don't think Cormier was weighing in at 265, was he? Was he that big?
I don't think so.
So, I mean, you'd say they're about the same weight, and so they
God,
wouldn't have to...
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm excited about him dropping down. I'm excited about him dropping down, and I'm excited to see what he can do down there. I think it's going to be awesome.
I do like the fact that he wants to fight one more time at heavyweight, and he is taking his time to do the cut because he's going to give his body an opportunity to adjust to that. He's going to be able to perform a lot better at that lower weight instead of just making the cut and saying, I want to fight at light heavy, and now he's depleted, he's tired all the time because he's so drained, and it wouldn't be exciting at all. And he wouldn't be the same fighter, and it wouldn't be the same quality fight. I think that would be over very, very quickly, and it wouldn't be worth anybody's time or money.
Down the road, let's don't get ahead of ourselves. We have 49 UFC events,
give or take,
before Daniel Cormier will go down to light heavy.
True.
I can't believe how many there are. As I'm looking, and I did my little bit of prep for Ian McCall. I mean, he fights. What is it? August 3rd.
August 3rd.
Yeah, August 3rd's the UFC 163. That's Aldo Korean Zombie.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is NFL Hall of Fame weekend.
So that's 2. Yeah, that's 2 weekends.
It's right after
2
Seattle.
weeks.
Guess who the co-main event is on that card? Lyoto Machida.
Machida against Phil Davis.
So now, if Machida wins, it's been 2 years since he fought John Jones. And he's won those 3 fights that he's had.
I would rather see...
He beat Bader.
I would rather see Glover, but I think Machida gets it. God, run down who he's beat.
Well, we're also saying that Phil Davis isn't beating Machida. Do you think Davis has a shot at all? In the rankings, he's 8th.
Yeah, I think he has a shot. Obviously, he's going to have to take him down and keep him down. Machida,
he's going to catch him.
Yeah, and I was going to say Machida's the running
man.
The running man. So I'm not sure he's going to be able to catch him. That style. I think Phil Davis possibly could get a little upset about chasing him around and then make a mistake, and that's what Machida does. That's what he did to Bader. Finally Bader's like, okay, if I don't go now, I'm running out of time, and that's when he got knocked out.
And this is
He
Machida's,
ran into a punch.
This is Machida's, let's see, 6th wrestler in a row that he's fighting.
Well, yeah, so he
the
obviously
people
doesn't have a
before,
problem with him.
Rampage, Couture, John Jones.
Hold on. Do you really count Quentin as a wrestler?
He's a wrestler.
Do you really think so? I would.
He's a wrestler.
I wouldn't count him as a wrestler.
He's a wrestler.
He's an overhand right.
But he's a wrestler.
Nah, I wouldn't call him that.
He has a wrestling background.
Okay,
he
great.
can wrestle.
Okay.
Jackson, Couture, John Jones, Bader, Dan Henderson, now Phil Davis. Where's Phil Davis is wrestling on the scale of those guys that he's fought before?
Well, again, how many
I
of
think
those
pretty
actually ended up on the ground and wrestling was involved?
Well, none, because they could never catch up to him.
Well,
Exactly.
Henderson took Machida down, and Machida took Henderson down.
I don't remember that.
That was not too long ago.
That was in February.
Right.
That was the last fight.
Which some people thought Henderson won, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Which is good, because it gives us a reason to continue talking about him. But with that all said, if Machida wins, then yeah, he'll probably get the rematch. Not that anybody wants to see it. So now, what does Glover do?
Wow,
He
I
can't
don't
sit
know.
there. He's
No.
going to have to fight somebody.
Yep.
But who? Who was Glover's last fight? He just fought.
So do you do Glover Cormier?
Let's see it.
Oh, that would be a hell of a introductory into the division.
So you
for
don't want to do
Cormier.
that? So you don't want to do that?
I think that would be
these
a
guys
good
do that, though.
that would be a number one contender fight. No questions asked. I definitely think that the next one gets the shot.
God, that's a fight I'd like to see.
Yeah, that would be an exciting fight. I think that unless you have a belt on the line for a card, I would think that would be a good
Now,
main event.
On the flip side, though, are we giving Glover Teixeira too much credit?
I don't
Has he
think
been
so.
tested yet? Has he fought anybody worth anything? He hasn't.
If he fights Cormier,
There you go. The biggest win on here is a washed-up Quentin Rampage Jackson.
yeah.
Who else has he fought?
He
recently?
fought Fabio Maldonado, Kyle Kingsbury, and James Tahuna are his fights in the UFC. Rico Rodriguez, no offense.
No, I'm with you. First round, 2 minutes in.
He lost to Ed Herman.
In 05, though.
But I'm just saying,
Yeah, you
though,
can't go that far back and call anything like that. I mean, I don't go
he
further
beat
back than 2
Sokajir
years.
then. There you go.
No, I don't even go back more than 2 years.
Okay, so we'll go.
Well, I mean, even if he only has
You are right, though. Are we giving him too much credit? Yeah, we might be.
Well, that's the thing, though, because he's ranked third in the division. So
You've seen how people rank. It's just how it happens. If you go by how you should, which is you win a fight, you move up a couple spots, depending on what happens behind you. You know, when you start at 10 and these guys fight,
Well, that's
someone,
the thing.
you know,
out of everybody that has ranked, Teixeira is third. Fourth is Evans. Fifth is Little Nog. I mean, these are guys who have very long, very illustrious careers.
But let's
So
see
I
where
don't-
they started the rankings. Where did he start on the rankings and what fights happened since then? And how did everything move? How did everything shift? See
So
what I'm
you're saying he just happened to move up to third?
And that's what I always use the college football thing.
Mm-hmm.
You could be 10th. You could play nobodies and win. The people ahead of you lose. You're still moving up 2 spots, 3 spots. Are you really that good? Or is the ranking too high for you? You've just fallen into that spot. And then when you fight or play somebody that high ranked with you and they prove that, then you fall all the way back down. And the same thing happens for the guy who's 9 or 10 now. Gets a couple more spots. I'm going to look at see if we can go back in weeks on the rankings and see where it's all
compare and contrast, see how it played out, if you will.
I'm looking at Rashad.
Doesn't look like
I
he
believe
can.
you said he was fourth.
He is fourth.
Rashad's fourth.
All right, who's coming off the win against Dan Henderson, and again, I know there's
Up in the
controversy,
air.
blah blah blah, but before that fight, it was the unmotivated Rashad Evans that fought Nogueira, and then the John Jones fight.
Yeah.
So of those two, of Rashad, where Rashad is right now, say in his last 3 fights,
He's 1 and 2, and he's fourth.
right, he's 1 and 2, and he's fourth, and Glover is
4-0.
4-0, and he's sitting ahead of him. I understand what
We're
you're
just
saying.
giving him too much credit. You're 4-0, but you fought nobody. That's what I'm saying.
I understand.
That's all.
But that's the beauty of the rankings. That's the beauty of us being able to talk about it.
Yeah, you just fight somebody that they give you. He's third, but he fought an unranked. He hasn't fought anybody that's ranked.
And again, that's not his fault.
Well, that's not his fault.
Now,
But-
that's the thing. So if Cormier comes down from heavyweight, where does he fit in the rankings? Because he'd be in, technically
hold
speaking,
on a second. Is that after he beats Roy Nelson?
let's say after he beats Roy Nelson, when he moves down to light heavyweight, where is he in the rankings in light heavyweight? Because he hasn't fought in the division, so how can you rank him in the top 10 if he hasn't?
The same way that I rank Chael Sonnen in the light heavyweight. The same way that I still rank Chael Sonnen in the middleweight. You know, I'm not necessarily, depending on how he beats Roy Nelson, is he going to be a good enough test for you? Since you said,
Roy Nelson,
yeah.
it loses a whole bunch of credit after what just happened. An unranked, I believe Miocic was unranked at the time.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
beats a guy who we're saying the next fight he gets a title shot and gets absolutely dominated for 3 rounds.
But there's people that were talking about Cormier getting a title shot at heavyweight right now, that he's there for a title shot right now.
And he should. We named all those names that came over from Strikeforce and got immediate title shots. He should get it, but he won't do it.
So why does he have to go through the ringer if he's eligible, in your opinion, if he's eligible and warrants a title shot at heavyweight? Why does he have to go through the ringer to get one at light heavyweight?
Because that wasn't where he dominated and had his title. He's switching everything up, so now he loses a little bit there.
We will continue that talk. I know that we're going to talk a little wrestling, a little Brock Lesnar, I believe, on the front cover of Extreme Rules 2013. We'll have some of those DVDs to give away. Coming up in the second hour, we're still trying to find Ian McCall, who has even tweeted that he was coming on the program. Yves Edwards coming up, and Tito Ortiz scheduled. I'll text him during the break. This is Knockout Radio, brought to you by Post It, Share It, Sellit.com. All right, 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. We're going to push Norbert Hudak back about 15 minutes. We're going to reach out to Ian McCall. He was at his chiropractor, I believe, getting a little adjustment. So we're going to grab him here in the next couple minutes.
Getting straightened out.
As he gets ready for his fight. And how, look at where he is. You know, people still consider Ian McCall one of the best in his weight class, and he's the first fight of the night.
You know, to me, it seems
not
like
on the Facebook stuff. He's the first fight of the night on the undercard.
To me, it seems like some of these cards have been just a little weird recently. There's been some more recognizable names lower down on the
You want to get people in the doors earlier.
You think that's why they do it?
People don't show up. It looks bad on TV. Now you put one of those names towards the bottom. You want to see that person fight. You need to get to the arena in time.
But do Brazilians want to see Ian fight? No,
they want to see anybody fight.
I was going to ask that.
They want to see Iliardes Santos?
Is he a Brazilian? They want to see Ian McCall fight.
They want to see the fight.
Yeah, they want to see him fight.
That's the one thing that I did like when I was down there in Rio, the fact that, if I remember, and it was many UFCs ago, the crowd was good from opening.
They're good from start to finish. I believe that the Swedes are good from start to finish, and so are the Japanese.
So what you're saying is the U.S.
Yes.
We'll talk about that. But as we continue talking about, and it's right around the corner, it's in like 2 weeks. I was surprised it was this quick. He is on the card. He's been on this show many times. Ian McCall. Ian, how are you?
Good. I'm doing wonderful. How are you guys doing?
Not too bad. How did you enjoy Fan Expo?
You know, it's especially getting ready for a fight. It's work, you know, but it's good to see the fans. It's good to give back to the people that, you know, give me everything. You know, my fans are the reason, a big reason my career is the way it is, you know. So any chance I get, I like to give back to them.
Let me ask you this. Last time you were on the program, it sounded like you were not in a very good place. Where are you now, and how do you feel?
Mentally turned around a lot, you know. I'm in a much better place. You know, I've kind of blown my UFC career so far, but now it's, you know, it's time to earn what's rightfully mine. You know, I'm just physically, I've always been physically ready. You know, every fight, I've always been in shape. I've always been, you know, there. It's just, for me, it's a mental thing because, you know, I can be a head case, and that's really what's gotten me down in the past. But I took personal steps, you know, in my personal life, new relationships, new whatever it may be, to just change for the better. And I really am just happier and in a much better place than I can really ever remember, which is nice.
Awesome. That is definitely good news. Talk to us a little bit about how upsetting it is for you. And again, I know that, you know, what has happened over your past couple fights. When you look at the card, you're the first fight on the undercard. Does that bother you? It kind of surprised me. Does it bother you?
No. You know, I haven't earned shit. You know, I've just about probably where I deserve to be, you know. Some people can look at it as a slap in the face of me not being on the main card, but I mean, who cares who I fought and where I've been on previous cards? There's some big names that deserve to be there, and I'm just ready to earn it. That's my outlook on everything. I like earning things. You know, I like being the good dog that gets pet. You know, I like, just, I want to earn this title shot, and my first step to do that is by knocking this guy out.
With the new improved Uncle Creepy Ian McCall, has training changed? And if it has, how has it?
No, training's always been the same. I always, I put in the work. I bust my butt. It's just more mental. I'm mentally clear, not to say that, it's completely someone else's fault. Of course, I put myself in every situation I'm in, but, I was in a bad relationship, and any man knows that can really change your life. It can really drag you down if you have this constant thing that's bugging you or whatever's going on. That had, compounded with whatever other demons it brought up in my life, that I was dropping the ball. I wasn't focused. I have flashes of brilliance, but that's all done now, and I'm excited to move forward and kind of prove myself, because I was brought in as number one. I was supposed to be something special, and I haven't really shown that yet.
What can you tell us about Santos?
He is going to he's going to go in there and he's going to try and knock my head off. That's for sure. I'm in his country. I am the person standing across from him. He's fought 30, almost 40 fights probably. He knows what he's doing. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, so obviously, he's dangerous. He's dangerous just like any opponent. You have to respect everybody. Perfect example, obviously, I'm sure everyone uses this, is Anderson Silva. He got cocky and he got put to sleep. The thing I just learned about in Brazil, good night Cinderella. Obviously completely different than being knocked out. But, he just got cocky and he got swept. And I have to go out there and just do work. I got to stop having so much fun getting punched in the face, and I got to punch people back.
Ian, since you brought it up, let me ask you your opinion, because we've disagreed here on the show, and obviously fans are on both sides of what happened with Anderson Silva. Was that disrespectful, even though Anderson has fought that way other times? Is that being disrespectful to your opponent?
It's entertainment, man. People can take it however they want, and who really cares? He was baiting Chris Weidman. He was doing his job, and he got caught. He took it a little too far, and he paid the price for it. But that's what he's good at. And if you look at basic MMA, it's 1-2. I'm sorry, but Chris Weidman kind of sucks on the feet. Like, it's sloppy, it's ugly, but it worked. It's not this super impressive boxer,
Right.
Like, it's basic 1-2. You watch Anderson, he goes, his defense is dip 1-2, right, left, constantly. Right, left, back, right. That's what he always does. All Weidman had to do is, step in. Silva was squared up, and he just threw a couple extra more punches. And it wasn't this magnificent thing he did. He just kept going. It's not rocket science. You just have to get after it. And that's what he did. He did his job, and he went out there and he just put his fist on Anderson's face, and he went to sleep.
Right. No, I got you. With your fight being, a little over 2 weeks away in Brazil, how much change is it with the travel, with the food difference, with the language and culture and everything that's different down there? Does that affect you at all?
Nah, I travel well. I've done a lot of traveling in my life. Rio's only 4 hours ahead. It's not this, it's like Australia, that was far away. And, granted, the flight is long, but I can curl up. You've met me. I'm a tiny, I'm a petite man. I can curl up in a ball and fit just about anywhere. So, it just comes down to, I got to get rest. I got to sleep. I got to eat right. Language-wise, I train with Brazilians, I have a Brazilian coach, Yves Santana. He'll be down there waiting for me. His mom will be there waiting for me. His brother, so it's not going to be a problem. All I got to do is just shut up and smile. Brazilian fans are by far the best fans in the sport. So I'm not like I'm afraid that they're going to hate me or boo me. If they do, cool, whatever. I'll make them love me just like I do everybody else.
Will you have time to do it? Have you been to Rio before, and will you have time to go in and do some of the things that are there in Rio?
Never been there. Obviously super excited to go down. I'm staying for a few extra days to, just see the country. I've never done that. I didn't do that in Australia. I've never done that after a fight, and it's nice because I have a few friends, training partners. My roommate, Shane Del Rosario, he's coming down, and, we're going to go out and have fun and, go see probably the Cristo Redentor and do all the different stuff and be tourists because I'm from a touristy place and I hate tourists, but it's gonna be fun to finally actually be that person,
Well, what I'm going to do, and I'll call you later about this. My trainer is down there in Rio. I'm going to give him a call to be your personal tour guide, to take
Amazing.
you some of the places that we went and did a couple years ago, climb a couple of the mountains, scale some of the stuff that we did. He was just on the Brazilian Ultimate Fighter, so I think you guys will get along well. And I'll have David Vieira hook you guys up, and I'll call you later with all the details.
Thank you, man. That'd be awesome. The more the merrier. I blend in well. I get along with just about everybody. So it's how can I not have fun? I'm getting paid, getting a free trip to go to Brazil.
No, there is nothing better. Ian, thank you very much for your time. I know that you were with the chiropractor there a few minutes ago. I'll call you later tonight with the details about David Vieira.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, take care. That is Uncle Creepy. I was going to say he's back. I'm looking forward to it. Was it 2 weeks? It's not next week Seattle. It's the week after. So we're talking 14,
August
15,
3rd.
16, about 17 days. The thing that I like about Ian is he says it the way it is. I haven't performed. I haven't done the things I've needed to do. I don't deserve it. Where a lot of guys feel like they deserve, even though their names are there or whatever. And let's be honest, you're talking about under and overrated about some of these guys. Ian has come in and he's fought two of the best, and he has not been successful yet. So let's see what happens. He did sound like he's in a better place, though.
Yes, he does. Very much so.
Oh, my God.
Very much so. I mean, he was morose the last time. He was down, and you could very much tell it. And obviously, his situation was significantly different than Mark Munoz's, but it's sort of the same thing. You just fall into this funk, this depression, and it's awesome that he is on a card and he is sounding a whole lot better because they have both had to go through a whole lot of diversity just to get back to this point and to be able to perform. So definitely good on them.
If he does win on August 3rd, it will be almost 2 years to the day since his last win. And the first in the UFC.
You are correct, sir.
All right, so while you're doing the interview, I was looking at some things. We're talking about Glover Teixeira. We were arguing about that. We didn't mention his upcoming fight in September against Ryan Bader.
Right.
Bader's 10. He's 3. You don't see anybody moving up into the 2 or 1 spot with Gustafsson there and Machida. So
but you will. I mean, if Gustafsson...
But not before this fight.
When's the Bader fight?
They're at the beginning of the month.
Okay.
So then,
this is the test.
September is the Gustafsson, right? Gustafsson-Jones fight?
Yes.
Or we could always have the return of Brock Lesnar.
Why not?
Speaking of Brock Lesnar, on the line with us right now, Norbert Hudak, going to talk a little WWE action. Extreme Rules 2013, who happens to be on the cover, is Brock Lesnar and his boss, Triple H. Norbert, how are you?
Great. How you doing today?
Let's talk a little Extreme Rules with Sean, a good friend of yours, is on the back cover in Sheamus.
This was a pay-per-view this year that took place on May 19th, and there was really 8 key matches during the pay-per-view. They actually put a pre-show match, which was Miz versus Cody Rhodes on the DVD as well, some bonus features, some post-show highlights, but there were some great ones, including Brock Lesnar and his boss in a brutal match, and Sheamus and Mark Henry in a strap match, and it was a lot of fun. And we don't normally do the pay-per-views here, but with Extreme Rules, I felt like it was a good opportunity to get some really good content out there.
We talk about this going on, numerous years. The beauty of these DVDs, we have a lot of wrestling fans. Derek, obviously, who's not here tonight, one of the biggest wrestling fans in the world, watches all the pay-per-views but doesn't get to see a lot of these bonus things. Some of the earlier fights, you talked about the post-show highlights. That's the beauty of this DVD. Not only can you go back in time and rewatch or watch for the first time if you didn't watch the particular pay-per-view, but all that bonus stuff, I think, just makes it all super special.
Absolutely, and that's what makes it something to collect, and that plus the actual matches. And you tell me you're going to give me a Extreme Rules match with Randy Orton and Big Show, and I'm going to love that every time. And there's weapons, there was spears, there was RKO's, and even a punt. And so lots of great action featuring some of the real stars today.
Will you guys ever come out with a DVD on how Sheamus stays so white?
Yeah. I think that's a great idea, and in fact, we're talking about the 2014 schedule now, so I will recommend that.
I think that would be beautiful. Before we let you go, again, I know you briefly talked about it, but talk about the special features. That's the reason these DVDs are what they are. You already mentioned The Miz, that we all know him from the Road Rules or reality show that he was famous for, but he is awesome. I happen to own one of his shirts. But it's the highlights, it's the interviews, it's those types of things that I like to push the most.
Yeah, and when you buy these pay-per-views on DVD, you get some of them. So, like I said, you get the pre-show match that was between Miz and Cody Rhodes. You get the post pay-per-view show, and those are important for you also to be able to follow along with the storyline and see what's going on next. So, those are included in here. And I think that those are really the highlights for this particular release.
Well, as we do each and every time you come on, we normally give away 10, but Derek already took his copy. So we're giving away 9 copies. You'll have till 11:59 to register. In the email, in the tweets, in however you're going to register, you need to put in there Extreme Rules. But for people not fortunate enough to win it, where can they purchase?
You can go to Amazon right now and buy it for $15.
Your thoughts 2 weeks from this Friday, I will be broadcasting live in Canton. Do you take any, Warren Sapp? I mean, he was with Oakland for a few years, or is he totally Tampa Bay?
He's Tampa Bay.
Okay. I'm not going to argue that. I agree with you. I just didn't know if you were going to take something, a piece of it as a Raider.
There's a lot to take, but I'm not going to take any of it.
Okay. Norbert, thanks for your time. We'll talk to you in a couple weeks.
Thanks, Randy. Take care.
All right. Norbert Hudak, everybody. We do have 9 copies of Extreme Rules to give away. 855 live on IO, 85483-6646.
Is your significant other nagging you about cleaning out the garage? Or spending too much on a storage unit? Needing to sell or purchase new or used equipment for your business? PostShareSell.com is your solution. A cool and innovative way to buy, sell, or trade online. With an easy-to-use mobile phone app and built-in sharing capabilities, post a free ad in less than 60 seconds. PostShareSell.com. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Post it, share it, sell it.
To answer your question, I know how Sheamus stays white. It's called liquid paper.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's white out.
Oh, so he just paints himself.
He paints himself with that little tiny brush before every time he comes out.
Oh no, you just have like a hot tub set up. You just dunk yourself in and then just go out, blow dry, good to go.
But he does do something, right? He doesn't stay that white. You can't stay that white.
You wear a T-shirt when you go outside.
A T-shirt. He's got to wear more than that.
A long sleeve
T-shirt
all the time.
All the time. He's from Ireland.
Once again, I will leave a pair of VIP tickets for the Demetrius Johnson Mighty Mouse After Party, which will be next Saturday. I believe it's at the venue. I hope he wasn't saying it's at a venue. So when he said the venue, I'm assuming that is the name. I will leave a pair of tickets at the Executive Hotel in Seattle, 400 Spring Street. So it'll be there mid to late Thursday after the press conference. I'll get them dropped. Press conference. I will get them dropped over there. So How many weeks in a row now are we going to be hitting events? We got Boston around the corner, and then we've got Milwaukee and Indianapolis like in the same week.
Really?
Is it the same week?
It's like
pretty close.
Yeah, one's a Wednesday, I believe, and then it's like Wednesday and either the Saturday before or the Saturday after.
It kind of seems like there's at least through October. There's just one after another.
Here we go.
Speaking of October, Bisbing and Munoz.
Yep.
Manchester.
I like that, and I almost called Mark to come on tonight to talk about it, but I thought we'd be pushing it 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, give him some time.
Give him a week or two, and then we'll get him back on. But that's a fight that interests me.
You think he already knew about that because you had asked basically when do you want to get back in, and he was saying, well, I want to fight Bisbing or Belfort, and then I think this was announced Friday.
Yeah, they know.
So two days after.
They know. They know what's in the works, but they're told they can't talk about things, and a lot of times they don't want to talk about things until it is signed.
Okay.
Because the last thing you want to do is start talking about, start promoting, start whatever, and then the fight doesn't get signed.
Happen.
It's one thing if there's an injury or if somebody whatever, but once it's signed, then you start talking about it. Does that fight not interest you?
I love that fight.
I like the fight.
Mm-hmm. I'm a Bisbing fan, and when I say fan, I mean I like to watch him fight. Especially going up against the way Munoz handled Boach, I think that will be a pretty exciting fight. As long as it's not the Bisbing that showed up against Sonnen. Because I didn't think that was a very, very exciting fight at all.
But he won the
Bisbing
fight.
won the fight.
In my opinion,
did he?
In my opinion, he won the fight.
But was
I think
that
in
an
Chael's
exciting
opinion, he
fight?
won the fight too.
Well, but wasn't an exciting fight to watch? To me, they both
I
gassed.
can't answer that question.
They both gassed out very early, and they were leaning up against each other most of the time, and you didn't really get much out of it. And that's one of the reasons why I think it was such a close fight, because not really much was happening on either side. So I thought that was a snoozer, and that's why I hope that Bisbing doesn't show up. I want to see more.
He's fighting at
from
home.
him.
He'll
be ready. Come to perform. And if the Munoz that just fought, the other day, that's a good fight. That's a fight that, you know what? Call my travel agent, because I might go to that one.
26 October. You're not going to be here for my birthday. Man.
All right. Go to England or take you to Torta Pizza.
What were we talking about earlier about places to go where he doesn't have to pay?
Go to England. Where is it? It's in Manchester, right?
At Manchester, yeah.
Okay.
That's not the O2 Arena.
No.
Then
It's the Manchester Evening News Arena.
The O2 Arena is in London.
Yeah, definitely.
Which we saw Matt Hughes and Carlos Condit at. Not Condit, Carlos Newton.
No, we did not. That was the Royal Albert Hall. Was not.
You are correct, sir.
I am.
You are correct.
So here you go. Here
that was a cool arena. I'll tell you what, the Royal Albert Hall was
what was special about that one?
It was kind of like a pit, if I remember, right?
Sure.
Sounds like
a normal arena where everything leads down to the bottom. Where you walk down the stairs.
So it's kind of like
to the floor.
Kind of like Big House. It's like the
unless it's
like
Dodger Stadium.
Michigan Stadium or Dodger Stadium.
Dodger Stadium's a little different. The Dodger Stadium, you come in at the top.
And you walk down.
Yeah.
Well, and that's sort of like the Big House in University of Michigan, right?
I've never think so.
The field is below ground.
So is the swamp.
Really?
Yeah. All right, so here you go. So you got July 27th, so 2 weeks. August 3rd, so the next week. August 17th, August 28th, August 31st.
Good God.
September 4th, September 21st. Then you're looking in October. You got October 9, 19, 26, November 6, 9, and 16.
Good God.
Then in December, you have no date set for the Ultimate Fighter finale, which, if I had to guess, I would say would be December 7th. Saturday, December 7th.
Makes sense.
Then you have 14 is UFC on Fox 9.
Where's that at?
Nothing listed.
Okay.
And which means it may not happen, but December 28th is then your Weidman Silva 2.
Or the Rousey fight.
Both.
Depending on which one. No, what?
Rousey fight is the 28th.
Yeah,
December 28th.
Yeah, they're the co-main event.
Yeah, it's right. Rousey's the co-main event on the Anderson Silva Weidman.
Yeah. Did I just completely tune out for a second?
You did.
Oh, hi.
You're
welcome back.
you're still thinking of that torta pizza for your birthday.
Yes. I haven't had a calzone from there for a while.
When is your competition? Because we want to get more people involved.
No.
What do you mean no? When is it?
September 14th.
And that is here in St. Petersburg?
Correct. It is the St. Pete Muscle Classic. That is at
St. Pete Muscle Man.
St. Pete College on 5th Avenue.
Will you have tickets? Can they buy tickets through you, or do they go? How do they get tickets?
I believe that is stpetemuscleclassic.com, and let's check that out real quick. And I'm pretty sure you get it. You can get them through there or at any of the locations listed on the website.
And from what I understand, and I will be talking to Mick Ferrari here shortly, he'll be providing the Juicy Fruit T-shirts.
Can't wait.
So you will be well supported. You're the one that's
thank you. I appreciate.
You're the one that's putting these pictures on Facebook.
It's at the
I
Palladium.
did no such thing.
It's at the Palladium,
I don't know where that is.
which is downtown St. Pete,
Oh, I was way wrong.
but it's affiliated with St. Petersburg College
Okay. Well, there we go.
on 5th Avenue.
So there you go. What he said.
Final start at 5 o'clock, September 14th.
So really, people don't need to show up until about 4:45.
Absolutely.
Do you need them?
I
there
don't know.
before then?
Sometimes they actually sell out pretty quickly. So I would suggest getting there early, and definitely get tickets early, because there is usually not too much in the way of seating available.
Just to let you know, there is on-site and backstage tanning available.
It's
Will you
expensive as hell.
be taking
though.
advantage of that?
You have to, pretty much. You have to. What was that? I don't know. Ghosts, apparitions.
Holy crap!
But yes, you do have to spend it's $100.
So why don't you
for
tan?
that spray-
Why don't you
spray
tan
tan
before
stuff.
you get in there?
No, that's in addition to. You do all the tanning first, and then you get turned into varnished wood. It looks like it. I mean,
So you're going to have the juicy fruits there in form.
I am not. Mick will. I'm not.
We will talk more about that later. Up from his evening nap, as he has a workout scheduled in about 29 minutes, our good friend Yves Edwards. Yves, how are you?
I'm good. What's going on, player?
Just thought we would touch base. What state are you in today? Just so I know.
I'm in the great state of Florida. I guess by some people's accounts, not so great.
Now, we don't even want to get into that. We don't have enough time to go back and forth. But I am, just so you know, I am now boycotting anybody that is boycotting.
I'm down with that. I think that's retarded. The law is the law.
I'm with you. All these people that are boycotting, then leave. But whatever. We'll save that for our discussion next week in Seattle.
Yeah, I mean, Stevie Wonder hasn't written a good song since 1983 anyway.
I don't know if you saw, somebody put a post up that, Stevie Wonder has decided that he won't be coming to the state of Florida until they repeal the Stand Your Ground law. Who didn't see that coming?
He didn't.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about your new opponent, Daron Cruickshank.
Yeah. What do you want to know about the guy? I got the scoop.
Whatever you want to tell us. Tell us things that we may not know about Daron.
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I'm just kidding. I do know, like watching him fight. Watched, of course, since my opponent got changed to him, I've been watching his fights, but I watched his fights in the past, and I liked watching him. He's fun to watch, karate stylist with MMA, bringing his karate style to MMA. So it's fun to look at, fun to watch, but I feel good about it,
What does he bring to the table that Spencer might not have?
I think he's a little more athletic. Spencer's an athletic guy, but I don't think he's as dynamic, you know what I mean? I think Cruickshank is a little more like along my skill set as far as like his athleticism or how dynamic he can be. But I think I don't think that's going to surprise me. We got a lot of really tough young guys at ATT that are phenomenally dynamic, and So I'm not going to be surprised by anything. And at the same time, you know, he's bringing that youth and that exuberance to the cage. That it's a little different from a guy like me and Spencer, but I think that experience is going to play a big part on next Saturday night.
So I know it's been pretty recent, that announcement. What have you, or what do you plan on changing in your camp to prepare for Cruickshank as opposed to Spencer?
Really, the only thing I feel I need to do is just get my timing back down for an Orthodox guy, you know? Yeah, I know he switches his lead sometimes, but his base is Orthodox, so I'm not too concerned with anything else. I mean, for me, it's never too much of a big deal because in the end, I'm always training for the best guy in whatever aspect of the fight, you know? So when it comes to change an opponent, it's not a big deal. The only difference in this time, I guess there's two differences this time, is that Spencer was a southpaw and Cruickshank is more of a orthodox fighter, even though he changed his stances, and the striking style. You know, Spencer's more a traditional boxer, but Daron is more of a karate guy. He throws a lot more kicks than Spencer does, and he likes to keep the range. But I like to fight at range too, so you know that's not going to change too much for me. But just knowing that those are the things he's looking to do, I think just mix those into my last few days of training camp, and I'll be good to go.
Yves, let me ask you the same question I asked Aaron Riley at the beginning of the program. He's fighting a guy that has nowhere near the experience, nowhere near the amount of fights. I believe Daron Cruickshank has a quarter of the fights that you have. Why isn't that a big deal, how much more experience and UFC experience you have?
I think the UFC experience does matter to some degree, but there's a point now when you've had enough fights in the UFC that the experience is kind of a wash until you know things get deep. Well, until you get late in the fight. And he's had one fight that went deep, and you know I don't know if he's picked up anything from that, but if we go there, and then I'm definitely going to test him in that area. But and as far as say me having 4 times as many fights as him, you know, I don't know what kind of competition he's been doing other than that. You know, I mean, he might have been competing in high school. I know he wrestled, so I don't know. I'm assuming he wrestled in high school. I know high wrestling is big in Michigan. And, you know, coming from a family of martial artists, he's probably been competing for a long time. So, you know, competition is competition. Well, I remember when I fought Hermes Franca the first time, you know, I had a lot more fights than him. But, it dawned on me at that point that, you know, all the jiu-jitsu matches that he's probably had over 100 jiu-jitsu matches, you know, and although jiu-jitsu isn't a fight, it's still, I think the competition aspect of it still prepares you to go out there and compete. As long as you're training properly, you know how to compete, you know.
Right. We are talking to Yves Edwards, gets back in the cage next weekend, next Saturday in Seattle. You know, Yves, a lot of times as fights are getting close or even a couple weeks out, there's a lot of trash talking back and forth. There's bad blood back and forth. How come there never seems to be any of that, or do I just miss it in any of your fights?
That all depends on what I can say on your show. No, I'm just kidding. Mostly because I don't fight douchebags, you know what I mean? I don't really think there are a whole lot of douchebags in the game, at least not in my experience with them. But I don't really care to talk. You know what I mean? It's not my style. You know, the fight's gonna come. Hey, it's one of those things. Somebody asked me before. You know, somebody asked me to say something. I can't remember which opponent it was, but I think it was over in Japan. They love that whole trash talk, pre-fight trash talk, and say something about your opponent. Say something like this, and to me, it doesn't matter. I mean, I signed a contract, you know, and I'm a man of my word. And it's one of those things where it's like, I don't care if the guy is an a-hole and he just like takes advantage of people every chance he gets. Or if he's the nicest guy in the world, he picked my mom from the airport and bought her flowers. I'm going to try to beat his ass. You know what I mean? Because I signed the paper. So that's my job. And when it's over, we can be friends. Or when it's over, we can go back to being enemies. But only thing that matters is the 15, 25 minutes in the cage.
You mentioned that you haven't fought douchebags. If the UFC came to you, and we won't say names because I don't know who would be considered a douchebag, but you know, if Joe Silva or Dana came and said, you're going to fight this guy who is a douchebag, would that change anything?
I wouldn't change anything, but I would enjoy the beating I dish out if that's the case. It wouldn't change anything as far as in the gym because at the end of the day, it's still another guy. He knows what he's getting into, and he's probably going to prepare for it as best he can. So at the end of the day, it's still competition. But when it's all over, you pick up a good victory. You go back and you watch the tape, and you remember that this guy's an a-hole. Then it's like, yeah, you enjoy watching him take that beating. But during the time, it's not like I don't really I don't know. It's weird. I watch like my own fights, and I don't feel like I'm watching myself because there's a separation from the guy I am like this moment to the guy that I am when I'm fighting. So it's not like it's me. It's like it's someone else. It's kind of weird, but I guess I separate myself from it like that.
So when you watch each and every UFC pay-per-view and there's that little montage of the Open and there's a guy that's throwing that leg kick to Josh Thompson, and that's not you, by the way, it's somebody else, what are you thinking?
Damn, that was smooth. Pretty much that's it, I don't really think about it too much. But, I've had times when I've watched fights and say something's on in the house or something, or some fights on, or some friends are watching some fights, and one of my fights is on, and I'm not paying close attention. And I look up, and I don't recognize myself for a good minute and a half, you know what I mean? It's weird. First of all, the only time I really look at myself in the mirror is when I'm brushing my teeth. So I don't really know what I look like. So it's like one of those things. It's strange to me, but it's one of those.
How many, and don't count the amount of times I call, how many calls do you get at every pay-per-view when they do run that?
They don't show that on television, so I don't get a lot of calls. But when my friends go to the shows, they see it. And I guess they run those between the prelims and the main card, whether it's a pay-per-view or a Fox show. And when my friends are at the event, I usually get a text of it or a phone call about it after the fights. But it's weird because sometimes I don't get to see it. Like sometimes I'm back in the locker room and I hear that music going off, and I try to run out and see it, watch people's reactions to all the knockouts. That's always fun. It's always fun to see. And I'm not just talking about my knockouts. Whenever there's a knockout, when I watch it the second time, I don't watch it to see the punch or the kick. I watch it to see the crowd because I always get this attitude like, that guy, he's so excited. He probably doesn't even know, say, Dan Henderson and Michael Bisping. He probably doesn't even know Dan Henderson, but he's so excited. Look at him. That's awesome. So one of the things I run out to see the crowd, but I don't get a whole lot of calls about it. It's only because they don't show it on television. It's only at the live shows they show that. They should show that on TV sometimes.
I think they should. I'll bring that up in Seattle. I'll try to see if I can get to the bottom of it. Let me take you back to, and it's not a good thing, but let's go back to the flag fight just for a second. Could you hear Clay Guida screaming the entire fight?
No, I couldn't. I didn't know he wasn't in the corner, was he?
No, he was in the 100 level behind the media section screaming for the entire fight.
Oh, yeah? That guy's full of energy, man. I don't know. I didn't hear him, but that doesn't surprise me. That guy is always going.
Well, he was screaming, stuff to Flag, obviously a teammate there in Albuquerque, and Flag said after the fight that he heard Clay, and it helped him. And I was just curious, can you block all that stuff out, and can you just tune into those voices that are in your corner?
Yeah. When I'm fighting, I really only hear 3-4 things, I hear my corner, I hear his corner. The referee is usually like a floating head, like he just kind of there sometimes. I almost never see the referee, and then every so often I can hear my wife in the crowd. But other than that, I almost never hear anything else. I don't hear the crowd much. Every once in a while, if I'm close enough to announcers, to Rogan and Goldberg, I hear those guys, but no, I pretty much tune everything out, man. When I don't want to hear his corner, I don't hear him. So it's one of those things. I don't know. I think everybody. I assume that everybody's like that, but I could be wrong. I could be just an amazing guy.
Yeah, there you go. How much do you eat after a fight? With you watching your weight, leading up to the fight, how much do you consume after?
The night of?
No, after the fight. The fight's over. Let's just say the next day, maybe at 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. How much would you eat?
Oh man, we all eat like pigs. Like right after that, once everything's done, everybody kind of pigs out for about a week, 4 or 5 days to a week, and then you get on the scale, and say a guy like me fights 55. You get on the scale a week later, and the scale says 182, 184, and you're like, this is ridiculous. I shouldn't be this huge. And then you go back to you get back in the gym and you start working again. But for a while, you kind of just indulge and you earned it. So you should get that 3-4 pound allowance for being over once there's no fight on the horizon and you just performed. But yeah, there are times. There's this place in Austin called P. Terry's. It's a burger place, and it's really good. And if I'm in training camp and I want to treat myself, I'll just get one chicken sandwich. I won't get the combo, but after a fight, I'll go to P. Terry's and I'll get 2 chicken burger combos with large fries and 2 large lemonade. You can't get the regular size drinks. You got to get the large lemonade. So that's the kind of thing I do. And then I'll go to Whole Foods and buy a lemon icebox pie. Not a slice of lemon icebox pie. I'll buy a whole lemon icebox pie, and it says on there 14 servings. And then when I finish eating it, I'm like, what the hell? Where's my other 10 servings? But
Well, let me give you the bad news. I'll give it to you right now. Your meal after your fight next Saturday will not be 2 chicken sandwiches, fries, and a pie from wherever that place was. So I hope you're going to be. I hope you're going to be prepared for the lobster, the snow crab, the clams, the oysters, everything, all the fish that we are going to consume next Sunday at Salty's Restaurant, starting at 9:30 in the morning.
I'm down with that. I think that'll be a good change of pace. I'm gonna eat some of my shrimp. I'm gonna get iodine poisoning.
Well, I've asked him to bring 3 large buckets of shrimp and lobster and crab and just put it on the table just for you.
Oh, well, between me and Melvin, I mean, he's from Louisiana, so shrimp and crawfish and whatnot, that stuff is going to get devoured pretty quickly.
Sean, over, under, how much more do I eat than both of them put together?
1.5 people.
We may put him out of business next Sunday, just so you know, Yves.
I don't know if you're going to beat me and Melvin when it comes to eating shrimp.
Guys?
Yeah, that's a tall order.
Oh.
Well, time will tell, but let's get your mind off of food, because I think you got to go hit the gym in, 13 minutes?
Yeah, I'm out front of ATT right now, and I see some beasts walking in, so it's gonna be hectic. But me and Masvidal got a workout set up for now, so we're gonna go in there and get ready for next week and hit it hard.
Yeah, tell him we'll get him on next week. He was supposed to be on earlier, but he's been at the gym, I guess, all day, getting ready for his fight. Before I let you go, and we've talked about this before, and we are talking to Yves Edwards, we're going to have to move Tito, who hasn't responded yet. We'll move him to next Wednesday. Talk about what ATT has done for you since you first kind of joined those guys down there a couple years ago.
Oh, man. This place is a family, man. This place. You know what? ATT and I, we've been cool since before I even joined them. I mean, these guys had my back when I fought Hermes the first time. You know what I mean? So, like, this place, and when I decided I need to join a team, Josh Thompson and I, we're decent friends. We're good friends. Matt Lindland had his team at the time, and all those guys were good friends, but these guys were like, they were family, they were always there for me. And when I came down initially, it wasn't like I was going to check out a new place and try it out. It was like I had went away to college and I came back home and all my friends were still there, So it's always been like that for me. Even now with all the new guys and all the young guys, it's still home. It's never been different. And these guys have done a lot for me, man. They've helped me get a lot better. Definitely. Every time I come here, I'm always improving. You can't help but improve when you train with monsters all the time. And get me focused. Take care of everything for me. Everything from getting my corners to where I need them to be, to getting me down here when they need me or when I need to be down here, taking care of me when I'm down here, dealing with stuff with the UFC and helping me get back there, to get my skills up to par and, making the phone calls and all that stuff, man. Those guys did everything that I wanted. Everything I was looking for and everything I wanted to get done. They're the big part of it. They're probably the biggest part of it outside of me putting in the work.
What's the number one video game out right now? What are you playing?
Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Black Ops 2. Sorry. I try to be a monster on there. There's sometimes I run into beef on there, and that's no fun. But for the most part, if I see you, I'm killing you.
Well, as always, Mr. Yves Edwards, thank you very much for your time. I know you're headed into the gym to train, and as soon as this program's over, I'm headed to a restaurant to train for our brunch next Sunday.
You keep it up. I'm doing that's my supplemental training. I'm doing that on the side.
There you go. Yves, thanks a lot. I'll see you next week in Seattle.
Take it easy, man.
That is Yves Edwards, and I can't wait to see what he's going to do getting on the scale. He always does something a little bit different. He always eats something just a little bit different. We should do a kind of a yapped poll question as what you think he's going to eat.
What should he eat?
What should he or what will he?
What will he? Interesting.
Well, I did try to reach back out to Tito, and he always, we always try to confirm with all of our guests, and he must be in the middle of something, so we will reschedule that hopefully for next Wednesday.
He's a busy guy.
Next Wednesday, we will be in studio with the guys over there at the mothership. Matt Hamill, as of right now, will be in studio as well with his translator.
Scheduled to.
I'm sure Jay will be there as well, and it'll be a whole kit and caboodle of fun. I'm going to have to book out a little bit early next Wednesday, so I'll be able to do at least the first half of the show, and then I got to get over to the airport, fly in to Seattle. We will give away a pair of tickets right now. If you are in Seattle, if you are listening, we're not going to tweet this out, okay? If you're listening, so maybe nobody's in Seattle that's listening, the first person that tweets it, we will hook up with a pair of VIP tickets for the Demetrius Johnson after party in Seattle next week.
Quick question. We don't have too horribly much time, but one of the things that came up was...
Torta Pizza, get ready. We're on our way.
GSP had invited Johnny Hendricks to do VADA testing,
right?
The additional drug testing. He says that he believes it is good for helping get the sport to where it needs to be. He sees the problem in it right now. Do you think, especially with this fight, because I think nobody suspects Johnny Hendricks to be on steroids or using anything, is this a good step? Does it really do anything?
Johnny Hendricks isn't the one that I've heard rumors about. That's what's interesting about this whole thing.
A lot of people have brought up GSP being
exactly.
a user.
The rumors have been out there, nothing proven. So maybe he's just trying to do it to prove it for himself, so everybody, whatever. I'm okay with it, because the guys who know that they're clean are going to test. The guys who know they're not won't. And they're going to make the big deal out of it. So it really doesn't prove anything. It's just going to prove those two are okay. Those two are not on banned or illegal substances.
Right. Good point.
Until you get rid of it all, who cares? You know what I'm saying? Even the TRT thing still pisses me off so much. It's still illegal. And I still laugh on a regular basis when I believe it was Vitor who said, I feel like I'm in my 20s. Yeah, no shit.
No kidding. Absolutely you do. I thought it was pretty awesome that the response that Johnny said, he said as long as they don't test for wild hog, then we're okay, because that's all I'm on. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting that he would pick this fight. I think he has brought it up in the past.
He has.
But if I'm him, I would say, if of any other opponent, this is the guy I would want to be using steroids for in the first place.
True. And before we do run out of time, and we haven't talked about it yet, the disappointment in Koscheck's finger. The fact
won't be making an appearance.
That he won't be making an appearance, because that was a fight that interests me. I thought it was okay. It could be to get Josh back into the circle of things or to totally push him out. This is, I believe it was against Damian Maia, correct?
Correct. Yes.
So, this is Damian Maia that's been on a roll, a different Damian Maia, who still people remember the Anderson fight and whatever, but this is different. I think he's been better. And that was a fight that I was interested in. I was interested in Josh Koscheck showing up. I was interested in Koscheck's finger showing up as well.
I'm not.
Well, they both are. They're one and the same.
One and the same. I'm not much of a fan of Koscheck's fights, so I would have to say this one didn't really interest me. If he had won and gotten back into the mix, that would have been a little bit more interesting for me. But
it didn't interest you after Damian Maia's last fight? He was still pretty dominant in it.
The Damian Maia, watching him fight, that would have been more interesting, him fighting anybody. But the fact that he was fighting Koscheck, that really didn't do anything for me.
I still wouldn't want to watch Damian Maia fight.
I wondered what that look was. That looked like
I'd rather watch Koscheck fight his finger.
That's what I don't have a problem watching Koscheck fight. You know what you're getting. He throws the punches. True. He throws to the ground. Yeah. He does whatever. All right, I do want to thank everybody who tuned in. The download will be available here shortly. Radio IO, check that out. MMA Weekly. We want to thank you for everything you guys do. Of course, Knockout Radio as well. Hit me up on Twitter at Knockout Radio.
At KOX.
Sean KO Radio.
D. Kukulich back next week. Everybody have a great week.